Hey, welcome back to another video. My shorter and better half has decided to join us today, and she is super excited. And why are we so excited? What's behind us?
We got poop.
We got poop. Neighbor Larry came by with a big old dump trailer of horse manure, and we're getting ready to spread that on the garden. And we're getting ready to do that because Alex has been busy getting our seed starts going inside. So today, tell them what you're going to be walking us through.
Getting seeds started.
So stay tuned. Alex is going to share her expertise with us here today.
This is the soil we're using this year. It's just a container mix soil that we already had. It's not a specific seed starting mix, but this is what we used, something similar like last year, and it's an organic one. So it's much easier to fill the seed trays also when it's in a container instead of reaching down into the bag. And you want your soil to be damp, not sopping wet, but definitely have moisture to it. And here I'm just breaking it all up so it'll go into the trays a lot easier with filling.
And our soil is pretty damp out of the bag. We didn't need to dampen it.
Yes. Yep, so these are 12 cell trays. Just starting in the first layer of it, and you don't want to pack it in super, super tight, but you want them to be level and filled. You don't want it to be too loose. So you'll see here that I'll add it in, and then I usually go and check and see if I need to add more to certain cells. And
let's see, you push it in a little bit and then kind of scoop the layer off the top and then try that again.
Yes. Yeah, just to make sure they're even all the way across. And there's a finished one, ready to go.
Looks good.
Try to get as much dirt off the top so they're not mounded. Nice and flat across, so they'll be all even.
So these are all of our trays after you've gotten them all filled up.
Yes, I think we're starting 16 total, everything that fits in the grow light. We don't have a south-facing window in our house that works good, so we wanted to get this specific grow light. Was the one that we chose from Gardener Supply, and it worked fantastic last year and is working really well this year so far. And the specific seed trays I got have the water reservoirs and then the humidity domes that came with them, because especially when you start them at the beginning, you want to water from the bottom, or it's helpful to water from the bottom, so that way you don't dislodge any of the seeds on top if you were watering from the top.
And how often are we filling up the seed reservoirs?
Every other day I have to add water to them. You can tell too from right now, they were really heavy when full of water. I'm just organizing. These are some messy organized piles of things we're gonna be planting.
We've got a mix, so I think we had bought from Gardener Supply and MI Gardener were the two primary places we bought our seeds. I'm sorry, not Gardener
Nope.
Supply.
Baker's Creek Heirloom Seeds, MI Gardener, and then Pine Tree Seeds. And we will link all three of the places below that we got them from. So Ruby Red Onion from MI Gardener.
And his seeds are great, very cheap.
Yes, fantastic price. And all very good quality seeds. All the onions that we got are storage onions also, rated to be good for long-term storage. So that's what we're going for, is to have enough to store.
And then you're labeling all of our seed trays.
Yes, definitely label as you go. Don't just start planting and then go back and think you can label everything, because it might throw you off a bit. And I got a specific fancy marker this year that's supposed to be waterproof and not run off. All the labels last year after starting seeds that I put in the garden ended up running off, so hopefully, fingers crossed, this one's better. And then I use the old pencil trick.
For planting the seeds.
Yes, just to have a good idea of how deep down to go, not too far. I don't pay too much attention to the back of the packets unless I'm direct sowing on how deep to sow the seeds. Since I'm just starting them indoor, I just want to get them germinated and get them going. onion seeds are so small. I had no idea until planting onions last year.
And the onion seed packets come with a lot of seeds. I think some of the pepper plants only have a few, but the onions have quite a bit.
Yes. I recently learned also that onion seeds do not...
Germinate?
Yes, they don't hold their germination factor, I know that's not the right word, as well as other seeds do.
Okay, so more duds.
Yes, so it's best to get new ones every season if you really want to make sure your onions go. And I also am doing planting them in clusters of about 5 or 6. I won't individually plant each onion seed that sprouts here. I will just take that whole cell out with 5 to 6 onion sprouts in it and plant that in our garden. I saw Shay from the Elliott Homestead did them this way, and the onions kind of grow away from each other. And it worked well for us last year. We had nice, good sized onions, so hopefully they go again this year. These ones were different. These are going to be a white onion. I thought it was interesting that the seeds were green.
Yeah, it is interesting.
They were much easier to see when planting.
And what I think you said you do about 5 seeds per cell?
That's what I shoot for. Since they're small, I figured if there's an extra 1 or 2 that grows, that's good for us. And these jalapenos we grew last year, and we grew a lot more hot peppers last year, and we learned
2 plant max when it comes to hot peppers for our family.
Much, yeah.
We had a chili pepper, and our jalapeno plant just went insane. So we had more than we knew what to do with. So I think we're just going to shoot for 1 or 2 plants this year.
Yes. And we're really excited for the sweet peppers, bell peppers this year. So we're trying these King of the North, and then another, I think, a bolt-nosed pepper. And these ones we are planning on having many more plants.
Yeah, our peppers didn't do too well last year, so we're hoping we have some better luck and definitely want to plant them in higher number.
This year also the pepper seed packets had way less seeds in them than the previous year, so seed starting is something we'll also be attempting this year. Chadwick cherries, these are a new one for us also.
And we're going to go heavy on tomatoes this year.
Yes, we have a lot of plans to can, and there's the bull-nosed peppers. A lot of plans for canning the tomatoes, making all kinds of sauces, so.
Yeah, you hear about this on other channels. We really took that advice that we're really focusing on growing things that our family eats this year. And It was very difficult to stay away from the fun seeds, but for being our second year in our garden, we're really focusing on items that our family eats regularly. And I know bell peppers is something that Alex cooks with quite often, and tomatoes.
Yes. Yep. Roma tomatoes are supposed to be a good one for all the sauces and making homemade paste and everything. Did not grow these last year. These are new for us this year, the Romas, as well as the Chadwick cherries, and also these Abe Lincoln tomatoes are a new one for us.
Such a cool name. I like that name for a tomato.
The Perrins we grew last year, these did fantastic. They're just kind of small salad size slicing tomatoes, and these were probably our best ones. And these are leftover seeds from last year. As well, the Amish paste I had really high hopes for, but they grew and got big, but they didn't seem to ripen fast enough before the end of the season. So I have some left, so we're gonna try them again.
Yeah, we had a lot of late in the year that were just green.
Yes, and the beefsteaks did very well, and they were huge.
Very large with the beefsteaks.
I think they look so cool on the inside when you slice into them.
I think those are fun to show somebody who's never grown tomatoes at home before, is to hand them a beefsteak tomato.
Yes.
Compared to what you see at the grocery store.
Yeah. All the tomato seeds I've ever seen look the same.
Now, are the tomatoes we doing, are they all indeterminate?
All of them are, except for the Romas are actually determinate tomatoes. In here we're just adding the domes. We don't use the heat mat or anything. but we've had plenty good luck with just the domes to keep in the humidity and moisture, and then lowering the light down to keep them nice and warm until they germinate.
And this is what we loved about the Gardener Supply Light. It's just so easy to adjust the height, and if you have some seedlings that are a little higher, you can keep just the light higher on one side, so
yes,
it's pretty nifty.
And for the space we had available to start them, it works great. Oh, I also planted some broccoli and some more cabbage, and was shocked when I went to check the water to see that we had germination already on the 3rd day.
Yeah, last year was a different story. It was a little colder in the house, but it was more than 7 to 10 days before we saw any germination.
I was kind of hoping that these would take a little bit longer to germinate because I started them a few weeks later than we started last year.
Our friends who don't garden kind of look at us a little with a funny look when they see that we have a grow light in the house. So yeah. I'm curious how you guys grow seeds. Do you have a grow light in your house, or do you just use a south-facing window? Because you go on YouTube and grow lights seem to be pretty common, but I don't think it's things that every gardener has in their home.
No. Yeah, a ton of our tomatoes germinated really fast. Yeah, we're doing 2 types of cabbage, green cabbage and then a red acre cabbage. Planted seed started broccoli, a whole bunch of different herbs, chamomile, marshmallow, basil, lavender, sage.
Yeah, and our cabbage got attacked by the cabbage moths really bad last year, and Alex said that they also love broccoli, so we're gonna try out some netting this year to see if we can keep them away.
Yes. Already got the netting, just to be sure for sure.
Looks like good germination on all the herbs this year.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't start any herbs indoor last year, so I'm really excited to see how those go. And tomatoes are just shooting up. Some of them were already starting to get a little bit leggy of everything that started, so I have a fan on them now, and we've turned down the total light time.
Yeah, the fan's supposed to help them grow a little bit stronger stems, and I think it was too warm in the room, so we left our humidity domes on usually until they kind of hit the top, but we've learned that if you have issues with that, you can just pull the domes off right away to help keep them from being so warm.
They're still growing extremely well though, even with them off and the light raised a bit. They're going.
That's our seed starting video. Thanks for watching with us today. If you enjoyed today's video, please click the like button so this can spread to more people. If you'd like to see more gardening or homesteading videos, please consider subscribing to our channel, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.